This is the Red Sox POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Boston Red Sox, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, we're certainly not going to be fooled by this one, but we can certainly enjoy it as well. You get nothing from Gio, zero from Gio, talking Lucas Giolito, but you get the home run in the bottom half of the ninth inning, just inside the pesky pole. 308 enough for Ceddanne Rafaela. Red Sox walk off against the Angels Wednesday afternoon and avoid being swept. We do welcome you to our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime play-by-play announcer and storyteller. I've covered amateur baseball, college baseball, minor league baseball, MLB on ESPN radio going back to 1997, the same year that Wally, the Green Monster, became the official mascot of the Boston Red Sox. No, we are not the same age. We are, though, providing reaction to every Red Sox game on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel and the Locked On Red Sox podcast feed. Our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast, yeah, you've got to discuss Lucas Giolito because that was ugly. It really was. Red Sox score 5 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. Giolito had given up 4 in the top of the first, then he gives up 3 more in the second, and he was not long for the game. The Red Sox bullpen terrific, and Ceddanne Rafaela, again, the walk-off home run for the Red Sox. We discussed that and plenty more. We do want to hear from you as well. Our everydayers and our first-timers, join the conversation. Watching live with us on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel, hit that comment button. Join the Sox conversation. I'm on the X, at Lennox on Baseball, if you want to continue the Red Sox conversation and the baseball conversation there as well. Our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast presented by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com, and you will receive 50% off on your first year.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Talking about how many times, at least I've wanted Ceddanne Rafaela to be sent down to AAA to continue to work on his approach at the plate. Well, I'm off that bandwagon. I'm off it. Ceddanne Rafaela has now hit safely in 8 straight games. He extended that hit streak in the bottom half of the ninth inning with a 2-run home run that surprised both Dave O'Brien and Lou Merloni on the Nesson call. First Nesson reference, by the way, right there. 11 runs, 12 base hits. The Red Sox do call to come back. Disturbing, though, Lucas Giolito, giving up a 4 spot in the first inning and 3 more in the second after the Red Sox actually took the lead in the bottom of the first inning with 5 runs. Giolito on a 3-0-2 pitch to the leadoff hitter, Zach Neto, a double. First pitch, Shanuel, RBI base hit, 5 pitches, and you're down 1-0. Trout, a base hit, Taylor Ward, a 3-run home run, then Soler with a single. Then in the bottom of the first inning, Red Sox go to work against Rafael Soriano, the table setter, in front of Rafi Devers, who was also a table setter in that number 2 spot in the lineup. Duran a single, Devers a walk, Abreu, Wilyer Abreu RBI base hit, Narvaez a base hit, Marcelo Meyer, first big league RBI with a walk with the bases full. That made it 4-2. First 6 reaching in that bottom of the first inning. Hamilton, a 2-run double, breaking an 0 for 14. Red Sox up 5-4, but disturbing because Giolito gives it right back up in the second. Newman, a double. Neto, an RBI triple. These are the first 2 batters of the inning. They weren't done. Shanuel, RBI double. Ward, sac fly, up 7-5. And then from there, it was like, okay, the Red Sox get 2 in the 4th inning. They tie the game at 7. Angels answer right back in the top of the 5th inning. Red Sox are run in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Angels answer right back in the top of the 8th inning. Red Sox run in the 8th, 2 in the 9th inning on the home run, and the Red Sox do take the series finale and a 4-game home losing streak. You avoided being swept by the Angels. You have also avoided being a game under 500 at home if you had lost the finale against the Angels on Wednesday afternoon as well. Guerrero, 2 1/3 out of the bullpen. Love it. Bernardino, 1 inning, gave up a run. Don't like that. Wilson, scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. Like it. Whitlock, a scoreless inning, 2 strikeouts. Weissert, want to give him a pass? You can. Gives up a run. And then Cooper Criswell, back from AAA. Inning and 2/3 scoreless. He actually picks up the win. I don't know if anyone's going to ask Alex Cora, who's going to be in a better mood after this game than he was after Tuesday. And Tuesday night, Alex Cora pissed off, had the red bleepity bleep, whatever you want to call it. I had no problem with that. I'd like to see him do it more. I think he's calling out the front office to a certain degree, but I also think he's calling out the guys in the clubhouse. Hey, I've handled you out in front with the media with kid gloves. Now, we don't know what he says in the clubhouse. He may get into him every once in a while. I think it's few and far between, but was upset on Tuesday. Has to be happy with Wednesday's victory. Ceddanne Rafaela does in the bottom half of the ninth inning. How about that pesky pole? Johnny Pesky. If you're a Red Sox fan, you're younger. We have a lot of, I think I'm accurate here. We have a lot of young Red Sox fans, and I say anywhere from, early 20s to early 30s, young. Most of you know your history. Most of you have a pretty good idea, and I like the back and forth. But if you don't know who Johnny Pesky is and you're with us on the Locked On Red Sox postcast on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel or the Locked On Red Sox podcast feed, you need to Google Johnny Pesky. You need to talk to somebody who is older. You need to read the book, The Teammates by David Halberstam. And I won't say anything else, but if you do go read that book and you take my advice yet again, you're welcome because you're going to love it. One of the best books ever written. It's about the Red Sox. Bobby Doerr, Dom DiMaggio, Johnny Pesky, and Ted Williams. If you've never read it, read it. All right? You take it, and I've said this before, you take it and you run with it. What do they do with it from here? Who knows? The bullpen, again, 1, 2, 3, 6 relievers. Fitz gives you 1 inning. Now, you had Dobbins behind him in game 1 of the series on Monday. Dobbins now in the rotation. Fitz wearing a Woo Sox uniform in AAA. Dobbins, I'm very interested to see in him pitch Sunday against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium Sunday Night Baseball. I believe it was Cutter Crawford last year who had a great outing in the Bronx on Sunday Night Baseball for the Red Sox. But 1 inning, 1 night, 2 days later, inning and 2/3 from your starter. And Dave O'Brien, I think, mentioned it. You know you're going to get a competitive game. You know you're going to get a good start or a great start from Garrett Crochet every 5th day, every time he goes out there. But the rest of the rotation right now, and Lou Merlone said it, and I said it, and maybe I didn't realize it on Tuesday night. Bayo had a smile on his face in the dugout after he was done with 6 innings. That got to Lou Merlone a little bit. And I thought it was after they tied the game, but it was actually he had a smile on his face, almost probably a sense of relief that he got to 6 innings. But his team was still down 3-1. It's understanding your circumstances. It's understanding where you're at. And he had a smile on his face, and we're down in the game 3-1. That's a tough look. It's kind of a tough look. There were some at-bats in this game that sort of drove me crazy. But then again, 12 hits total. Hey, I like the walk totals. They're starting to go up. Now, you have to hit with runners in scoring position. You have to hit when those runners are on base. 5 walks, you're getting more runners on base. All right? So you had 12 hits, and you had 5 walks, and you put the ball in play. 6 strikeouts total. Soriano, you sort of had on the ropes. He ended up giving up 7 earned runs over 3 2/3. You could have knocked him out earlier, probably. Threw 99 pitches in 3 2/3 innings. Had him on the ropes 100%. Let him off a little bit in the 2nd and 3rd, but he doesn't make it out of the 4th inning. But Lucas Giolito, Tanner Houck, it can't be one good for every bad or one bad for every good. There's got to be some consistency here. And Giolito, I know, is coming off the injury, but he's in the starting rotation and he's expected to get results. And everything that he threw up there in an inning and 2/3 was hittable. Let's get to your comments. Numbers of the night. Numbers of the day coming up as well in segment number 2. The Red Sox pull off the victory. It's a good win, but where do you go from here? You've got 3 in a row in New York, then you're back home. But this now begins a stretch where you're on the road an awful lot over the next couple of weeks here in the month of June. Again, we'll get into some numbers of the day and your comments as we continue Locked On Red Sox Postcast. And we are presented by Monarch Money. Happy to have you on board on this Wednesday. Hey, you ever check out your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? I've been there. multiple times, weekly, monthly, yearly. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, your investments, and your spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building on your financial wealth. When you start using Monarch Money, you may soon realize just how much money you are spending on food delivery. With that, you may soon budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan on your long-term financial goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off on your first year. Locked On Red Sox Postcast, also presented by Supply House. If you're in the industries, you can get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trade, Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done and get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every single order. Thousands of skilled professionals right now are taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 and you are going to receive 5% off on your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Promo code SH5 for 5% off on your first order. Supplyhouse.com. All right, over the last couple of days, I like the flow here. I sort of go first. We go to second segment, numbers of the night, along with your comments as well. And we've got plenty on board with us as we get going, talking about Ceddanne Rafaela coming through in the bottom half of the ninth inning, the pesky pole right down the right field line. There was a woman there cringing, trying not to get hit by the ball. She celebrated afterwards. G's World, our leadoff hitter. Ceddy, 308. 308-foot home run. Homers now in 3 straight. Nice. I'd like to see them play more ball offensively like they did in the first. Yeah. Base hits, walks, moving runners along. Put the ball in play. They did it against a real sinker ball pitcher, a guy who gets a ton of ground ball outs. Soriano, a guy, they had it up on the Nesson graphic, 50% sinker. And it was a good approach. Adam Baum, shout out Pesky Pole. Yeah. Yeah. Right down the line. Surprise Lou Merlone. Surprise Dave O'Brien. But all of a sudden, ball game over, a Red Sox winner. The Red Sox walk off against the opposition. Can only do that at Fenway for the Red Sox. Cody, checking in. Cody, hope you're doing well. Not able to catch the later games as much anymore, but what a walk-off for the kid. Another one had me on the edge of my seat, but good job battling with the bats today. Yeah, it really was. You know, they did come back, and good for them, right? 13th comeback win of the season. Austin D, let's go. Austin D, good. Stay off that bandwagon. He's on my fantasy dynasty team. Is that me? About wanting, I'm not going to come on here and say, hey, I'll admit, Ceddanne Rafaela is coming around. And I love him. He's got a ton of talent. But I was really struggling with what he was doing at the plate and his approach in recent weeks. But now he's really gotten it going. 8-game hit streak. So I think that's what you're saying. I'll stay off the bandwagon. And I'll just appreciate what Ceddanne Rafaela is doing right now with an 8-game hit streak, 3 home runs, and all 3 games of the series against the Angels. Here's one for you. I have no idea. The Nerdy Poet ZW. All right, you got some lowercase letters in there, uppercase letters. This team needs pitching. Swear the offense is good, but They can only help you out so many times. Thank God we win. I don't know what's going to be out there on the starting pitchers market. Alcantara with the Marlins. I don't think I want to part ways with what you'd have to do to give up on to get him. If you think you can get him on the straight and narrow and keep him healthy, maybe. But I don't know where you go on the pitching market. I don't want, if the Red Sox are going to go out and get a starter, you get Crochet and Ace during the offseason, and that took a big package. I don't want the Red Sox, if they're going to go in the starting market before the trade deadline, and who knows if this is, even if it's next year, I don't want what is probably going to be a number 4 or number 5 starter. And I don't want a guy coming off injury either. I want a legit guy that's going to be there behind Garrett Crochet, because right now you don't have it. I mean, think about the starters you've thrown out there already this season. And collectively, they get probably a D plus, C minus at best. It's Crochet and pray for 4 days of rain. It's just not there. I don't know what they can do. What will it take to get Paul Skeens? It's not happening. It's just not happening. I'm sorry, Nerdy Poet ZW. I feel like I'm at an eye doctor looking at that handle there. Paul Skeens is going to get traded. If Paul Skeens is traded by the Pirates here, when he's still under control with the Pittsburgh Pirates, that's a black eye for baseball. It just is. And to me, I'll say it right here, it's kind of shame on, and I sort of went yesterday on Passion and, Buster Olney. I've interviewed those guys. I've worked with those guys at ESPN. I like them as people. I like them, and I have respect for what they do as baseball reporters. But I hate these articles about, Jim Bowden, who I've never heard anything good about from many people across baseball. Jim Bowden is out there. I think he's the one who started it. Maybe not. I don't know that for sure. But Jim Bowden, throwing ideas out there for trades. You're a former GM of a team, and you do that to GMs that you were colleagues with. I don't like that. What is it going to take? Let's start with Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony. You willing to do that for Paul Skeens? The password? Start there with those 3. Think about what you gave up for Crochet. And some of those guys are knocking on the door. Meidroth is in the big leagues. Geez world. Will Fleming's call was nice. Wonder if we'll ever see him over in the other booth. That's a good question. I don't know. I like OB. Been very good to me over the years. The Nerdy Poet ZW. Hey, if you're a first-timer, Nerdy Poet ZW, I think I got that down. And you're in here. I love it. I love it. Appreciate you being on board with us. Any word on Tanner Houck's injury? You know what? It's funny. I was thinking the other day, and now Alex Bregman apparently is on warp speed to get back from his injury. That's good to hear. Still going to be a few weeks. It's going to be, I would imagine it's at least another month, maybe around the July 4th holiday for Bregman, maybe. But as I was thinking about, we haven't heard much on Bregman. Been a couple of weeks. We haven't heard much on Casas. You hear it in the last 24 hours. I've heard nothing on Tanner Houck in recent days. I don't know where he's at. I would imagine at some point he goes down and makes some starts in the minor leagues. Got to be a couple. I don't know what program he's doing right now, where he's at in terms of throwing. Maybe it's on flat ground. I couldn't tell you. But with that, because I thought about it, we'll probably hear something in the next 48 hours, maybe before the Yankees series gets underway on Friday. If I find something, I'll do my best to write it down and go from there. Do you see any chance we make a move before Friday? Again, Nerdy Poet ZW. Tired of getting my hopes up. I think a lot of Red Sox fans are. Every off day, every day after a road trip, I thought after the last homestand, maybe after this most recent road trip where you get swept in Milwaukee, then you drop 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, you come back and win the finale. I don't know that there's a move here. I do think there should be. I don't think anyone from fan base to front office right now should feel as if, well, this victory is going to get us going. You can't be fooled by that. I do think something needs to be done. And I saw it on X today, scrolling through at one point. You could make, and I've said this a handful of times, you could make a case for a myriad of different moves. And there's at least 5, 6, 7 where you could make right now, and people would be like, yeah, okay. At least you did something. I can see what you're doing there. And no one would have an argument against it, or very flimsy or very small argument against it. Except Ceddanne Rafaela is not getting sent down to AAA on Thursday before the series opener at Yankee Stadium on Friday. Geez World. Folks talking about Andrew Bailey, your thoughts? Andrew Bailey, I don't think is going anywhere. I really don't. I think he's got a relationship there with Craig Breslow. I think the organizational philosophy, and I said it last year, as Tolley was added in the draft, a big right-handed pitcher. I think Craig Breslow now, and I said it, I put the clock on it last summer. I don't like the hitting approach in the organization and these guys coming up. And not, it was talked about, I think, in the pregame. Understand, don't put this on the minor league development staff, coaches and managers in the minor leagues. They're told what to do in terms of philosophy, what we're going to do in pregame. I don't even know how they take batting practice anymore in the minors. It's been many years since I was around the cage from 4:15 to 6 o'clock before a 7:05 game. Long time in the minors. But there was a routine, and it included getting bunts down. It didn't matter what team it was. It didn't matter if it was a cleanup hitter, leadoff hitter, or the number 9 hitter. You got bunts down. I don't even know if they do that anymore. I don't know if they waste their time because they're not. But as a big league hitter, if you're called upon to bunt, you should be able to get a bunt down. Trevor Story hadn't had a sacrifice bunt in years. A few weeks ago, he got a sacrifice bunt down. I think it was in the Atlanta series. But some of these guys, you can see it with Campbell. I think you can see it with Meyer a little bit. The approach of what they're taught in the minor league level, I'm not a huge fan right now with the Red Sox. But on the pitching side, I don't think Andrew Bailey goes anywhere. And I'm curious to see as they continue to build and maybe get a couple of frontline guys in the minors that you come through and develop pitching and see what they are in the next couple of years. Guys who might have 96, 97 mile an hour fastballs. They don't have, outside of Crochet, you don't have really a staff in terms of the starters. None of them. They might get 8 strikeouts in a game, but this is not a staff that picks up a lot of strikeouts as a starting staff. So, geez, world, I don't think Andrew Bailey's going anywhere. The nerdy poet ZW. You're the first, I think, maybe the second. There was someone yesterday saying, do not trade Jarren Duran. I agree. I don't believe a lot of the way the Jarren Duran stuff has come down this week. I think people are floating stuff out there just to see. Because after Duran, you heard, well, somebody reporting that they talked to a scout and the Red Sox might be willing to trade either corner outfielder. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't see how you trade Jarren Duran. And Lou Merlone talked about it on the broadcast. He didn't mention him by name, but he's like, a teenage shortstop prospect. Leo DeVries, I believe, is his name. And then the kid, the catcher that they've had for a couple of years, he's still a teenager. He's at AA. He's dealt with back issues. Back issues as a teenager, not really a fan of that. Those guys are a long way off from the big leagues. I would not do that in any case for Jarren Duran. If I'm trading Jarren Duran, I want a guy like Roman Anthony back. Maybe an infielder that is right there knocking on the door. So I'm not sure where that is all at. But I think there's, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But right now, that's barely a simmer on the stove, I think. The rumor is that San Diego has interest. Nothing about the Sox shopping. Yeah, they could have interest. And as Lou Merlone said, yeah, you can call the other 20, you can call the Padres and you can call the other 28 ball clubs around Major League Baseball. Hey, would you have interest in Jarren Duran? Yeah, I would. Okay, this is what we want. No more interest. The nerdy poet ZW, I'm going to let you finish this off. If they trade him, they are stupid. I've watched all 63 games this year, but without him, it will be hard to watch. The nerdy poet ZW, thank you. Yeah, I agree 100%. I love Jarren Duran. Absolutely do not trade Jarren Duran. Hey, we're off on Thursday, but I'm going to be on board with Lindsey Crosby for our latest edition of MLB Game Night. If you don't know about MLB Game Night with the Locked On Podcast Network, well, we come on within minutes of the final out of the last game of the night. Then we recap for about 30 to 33 minutes with our Locked On baseball experts from around the Locked On Podcast Network. So I'll be on with Lindsey Thursday night into Friday morning, Friday into Saturday, then Saturday into Sunday as well. We're going to be back with you with our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast within minutes of the final out, game one of the 3-game series. I really do have a good feeling about this Yankees series. They just lost their closer. Keep Aaron Judge in the ballpark. Take your chances, right? But we'll be on within minutes of the final out. Game one, Red Sox, Yankees. By the way, we're into June, and it's going to be the first series of the season between the Yankees and the Red Sox. So, again, we'll be on with you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All 3 night games, Sunday Night Baseball for the series finale with Hunter Dobbins going on Sunday for the Red Sox. It's going to be Buehler, Crochet, and Dobbins, and you are not going to see Max Fried in that Yankees series. Locked On Red Sox, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Don't forget to tell your friends all about us. Locked On Sports, your team, your Red Sox every day. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.